Hello and welcome to the Observe Conversations channel. I am VR Sampath, retired IPS, aka Sampath Ramanujan MFA. For more details, click the link below. Please subscribe and click the bell icon. Thank you. Let's get into the topic for the day. Governance, power, profit, and pleasure. What is life? Is there justice in life? And what's the need for philosophers? Life is multidimensional. It's beyond the comprehension of humanity, let alone a single human. But still, we will make an attempt. For making such an attempt, you need observational skills. And those skills depend on the quality of the observer, the sum total of his psyche. And this quality varies from individual to individual. Still, we will make an attempt. The observations or points of view are likely to be critical. Here, in this context, the society can be broadly divided into the following categories or players: the government, the private business, the citizens or people. I belong to all the three categories. I mainly served the government for nearly 3 decades, tasted the business world for a decade, and raised a family too. I am currently in retirement for a decade, if that would be called an occupation. The games these three categories play get interesting as the players dodge each other and pretend to be serving one another while the knives are out all the time. Let's begin with the ordinary people. It is this pool which provides fodder to the other two wings. The individuals get into the government or business and merge with them. The main driving motives of an ordinary man are profit and selfishness. He lays claims for innocence and the right to live a decent life. He encourages the impression that he is the exploited and the government and business exploitive. His existence is rooted in genders and their unification in family and marriage. The genders claim love, etc., but they have one common aim: to exploit the other. His other aims include living in luxury, avoiding pain at all costs, get entertained, and get the maximum advantage out of everything. That includes the other two wings of government and business. One of his subsidiary aims is to be better than his neighbor. He expects government to get him the moon for the tax he is supposed to be paying. Most of the population tries their best to avoid or minimize their tax dues, but expects refund on the little he pays. Another important duty and right of the common man in a democracy is to vote. In the part of the world I lived, the people took money to vote for a party. If all parties offered money for vote, then he will be sincere to the one who pays the most. More often than not, even that becomes a belied expectation. Democracy is practiced with money. People are being paid to gather for a meeting, in addition to getting paid for voting. The individual expects the government and business to please him in every way possible. He accuses the government of misuse of power overtly or covertly. From business, he wants best material for least cost. Nothing pleases him like discounts and freebies. He blames business of having profit motive and accuses it of destroying the environment for their own benefit. Next, let's look at the government. It takes individuals for granted, lays down millions of rules and regulations in the pretext of administering the population, behaves selectively in implementing those rules in favor of certain people. The system doesn't spare individuals who come to be part of it, even that. It pays them a little and leaves them open to other forms of gratification. It throws them here and there in the name of transfer, patriotism, and service. Business is by far seen as the worst component of the society. Profit motivated, selfish, exploitative, and whatnot. The members of this category, whether bosses or employees, are arrogant, most misbehaving, and have more money than the other two categories. They show off their wealth in many ways of luxury, motivating the other two to follow them by hook or by crook. If you look impartially, you will realize that the roots of all the three categories are in profit, exploitation, and violence. And still, each category of public, government, and business talk about peace, love, service, justice, etc. It will be clear that the whole picture is nowhere near a God-created or administered life. People strangely defend God, saying it's man who makes life life miserable for himself and others. God is supposed to incarnate when adharma becomes rampant and makes life difficult for common man, as though what's going on now is not serious enough to warrant his presence. People also have a strange notion that in this weird life, they are superior to the other forms of life, such as plants and animals. It's also strange that some past masters booked rooms in 5-star hotels, sat down and saw some great potential in humanity, as though they established human labs and experimented to find some great truths and also the motivation to reveal those findings free of charge. They also came up with models of life to be followed and rules to be observed. It gave them great power and sense of importance during their lifetimes. Kings respected philosophers, albeit with some isolated exceptions. In essence, these models of human potential became part government and part business. Religion and spirituality are some of these hybrid models of governance, profit, and pleasure. What we call life is events arising out of the interplay of these three elements of power, profit, and pleasure. Government stands for power, business for profit, and the so-called innocent, helpless individual for pleasure. It's because of these fundamental proclivities, these categories fail to admit the truth. The government refuses to believe there is chaos and violence everywhere. The businessman buries his head in the sands of loss, hoping it goes away. The common man refuses to face pain and keeps praying for pleasures and gratification. As for his feelings of superiority over other forms of life, he closes his eyes towards invading microorganisms which have the final say. They invade his body, brain, and tissues and eat him alive or dead. This is our point of view of all this mess and our philosophy. Thank you.